Alrighty. Have a look. We are up and running. We seem to be working accordingly. So let's get into it. There we go. How we doing, guys? Good morning. Good morning, and welcome to another live trading room with myself. Looking forward to having a chat with you all about the current market conditions and a couple things I actually did want to discuss as points of interest today. We might even take some trades. Good morning, CJ. It's nice to see you here nice and early once again. I'm well. I'm very well, thank you. How are you? Bit cold, bit chilly, bit wet. The rain coming down recently, but overall I'm doing quite well. How's your trading week been? Now we'll do the usual, just kind of sit on our hands for a couple minutes while we wait for everyone to come in and get involved. Can you guys let me know if you can hear and see me all well? And that'll be greatly appreciated. Assuming by your reply, you can hear. Very good. Morning coffee. Can't beat a morning coffee, can you? A lot of back testing this week. Not much trades. Profit. Back test. Interesting. How do you go about your back testing process? That's interesting. So many people have so many different ways that they like to back test. Some more effective than others. I'm intrigued to know what your backtesting process is. How do you backtest? How do you look at your strategy and how you may have traded it in real time and compare that? That's a good question for you. Good one to sit on as well. Okay, plenty of people in here. If you are just joining us, welcome. Hello. Don't be afraid to say hello. We've got the chat, or you've got over on TradingView or on YouTube, and we'll have a talk. Shaban, are you going to take some trades today? If the opportunity persists, I will have a look to take a trade. I've got that urge to trade this morning. I'm not sure what it is about this morning. The way the markets are reacting to certain events is kind of giving me that push that, hey, we might be in the area to trade. So depending on what happens throughout the morning session here, I might look to fade some of the Asian session pairs. And there's not too much news. I think the US dollar is going to be pretty flat majority of today, leading into NFP, which is expected to be negative for the US dollar a little bit later. We'll touch on that. I think the US dollar is going to be a pretty good pair to try and manipulate in the early morning session here. So, maybe if the opportunity arises, I'm definitely gonna look to take some position. You define your strategy as strict and follow it for at least 2 years. Fair enough. Hi, Carlos. Hi, Yao Henrique. Nice to see you. Don't stress. Don't worry at all. I probably butchered your name too. Welcome. It's good to see you guys. Funny thing, my backtesting results are not good, but I'm making money with it. Okay, well that's worrying. That's worrying. It means your decision process is either different or you're trading a bad strategy that's just working in the short term. So you need to have a look at how you're backtesting and whether or not you're doing it effectively, and then how your decision making is changing trading the live market compared to trading the backtesting market, or however you do that. Hey Mick, welcome. It's good to see you, mate. How you doing? For anyone that doesn't see messages I might read out, I am streaming on TradingView and YouTube at the same time, so there might be a miscommunication in chat there, but it's okay. I read out all the messages before I answer them anyway. So thanks everyone for joining me today. What we're going to do, first things first, Bob, how you going? Nice to see you. First things first is I wanted to have a chat about the pound. Most of you probably aware UK government had a big day yesterday. Okay, UK government had a very big day yesterday. Hi, Victor. Came in here just accidentally. Well, I'm glad you're here, mate. Welcome. Welcome. Hopefully, I can deliver some value for you today. Okay. I have an old news question. Yep, sure, Carlos. Fire away. I'll get to that in a moment. The pound. The pound yesterday. Okay, Boris Johnson's resigned. Okay, he's still Prime Minister because he's acting as caretaker Prime Minister until a new Prime Minister is found. We have 50 members of cabinet resign. That's a lot. That is a lot of people resign. And I wanted to have a look at how this has come about and what it means for the pound as a currency, what it means as an investment. And the interesting thing was, I'm not overly surprised, but what I want to say is interesting is the pound itself actually took the event as positive. So a lot of people were actually looking to invest in the pound upon the news of Boris Johnson resigning and half of the cabinet disappearing. Um, People saw that as an opportunity to invest in the pound, which is very interesting. Now, against the US dollar, it didn't do too much movement, but the moment you pair it against something like the New Zealand dollar or against the CAD, against the Aussie dollar, you can see where it kind of had a bull run throughout the day. Now, I'm sitting here on the 5-minute chart, just looking at how the day unfolded. Obviously, it was over the past 2 days what was going on. Most people were resigning here. Boris Johnson got out somewhere around here. Very interesting to see. Yeah, see, Victor, you're saying yourself, pound will be good after Boris is gone. That's very interesting, isn't it? The people are gaining more confidence now that the Prime Minister's out of the chair. Now, it's the same government, so the same policies will still be there. It's just a different front man. And interesting how that perception and confidence can change to the point that the pound's starting to look more bullish just because of a change of a leader, but not a change of government. Very interesting approach and a very interesting kind of look at. So keep an eye on the pound over the next couple of days and even weeks. I think we can see some opportunities to go long. I don't love the idea of doing it. I think it might just be an initial pump up, like, oh my god, new leader, fresh start, this is going to be awesome. And then everyone's going to realize it's still the same government, it's still the same policies, they're still working on the same things. It's just a different face. And then it'll kind of sit back at where it was. So I think we might get an initial push up, but then fading it might be a pretty good opportunity, in my opinion. I think we could look to fade any real bull run that the pound can produce, if it can produce a bull run. Having a double bottom here on Great British Pound CAD, but yeah, it's a tough one. I just wanted to touch on it because I found it so interesting that people gained confidence in the asset just because of a change of personnel, which I can understand in one case, but most of the time when that confidence comes in, it's when there's a change of government, a change of policies, a change of everything like that, not just a change of personnel. But with everything going on in the world, Europe, the Ukraine and Russia and NATO, and it'll be interesting to see who the next guy stepping in is, or girl, who that is, and how they're going to react to certain situations. So pound might be a little bit more volatile than what we're used to over the next few weeks, which if you're a volatility trader means there's going to be plenty of opportunity coming up. But if you are more for the stable side of things, maybe keep away from the pound. Carlos, fire away with your old news event question. I'm more than happy to help you with. Maybe just profit taking from short positions. Look, very viable. Could be profit taking from short positions. Definitely could be. But with such a large event like that, it's tough. I really don't know. That's me being honest. I don't know. I was unsure on how the pound was going to react. Okay, I was always unsure on how the pound was going to react under that. I guess I just was more lenient to either a flat, like we don't care, or a bearish, shit, another change of hands. Like, this is a long process. The fact that it did go bullish took me by surprise a little. Now, I didn't have any trades on, and I didn't have any positions or risk on with the pound, but yeah, maybe I'm missing something there. As you're saying, Victor, maybe it is time to start investing in the pound. Pound is a strong currency, but some persons were weakening it. Now they're out. Maybe. Yeah, maybe everyone was turning away from the pound because they didn't like Boris and they didn't want to invest in Boris. And now Boris is gone, that they'll get back. But we don't know who the next guy is yet, or the next girl, right? We don't know. It might be another nutcase. politics at the moment is very much becoming a popularity contest rather than a policy contest. So we'll have to wait and see on who steps in. I'm not sure who the favorite is to step in next, or who's going to be voted. Seeing as the 50 members of the cabinet resigned, it might be tough to find someone. It might be an actual politician that's not worried about popularity, but more focused on policy, which I hope, because that's what government should be. Government should be people looking out for what's best for the economy and the people, not trying to get a paycheck. I think that's important. Anyway, we had a little discussion about pound. I want to talk about that. This morning, looking at trading opportunities, I mentioned for some reason I've got that great little feeling in my body saying, "Hey Jordan, think you want to trade this?" Now, that's going to mean one of two things. Either I'm about to have a losing day, which likely, because I'm going to look for opportunities I don't usually look for, or I'm in the zone. Let's find out which one that is, shall we? We're either going to cop a losing day, and that's fine, or we're in the zone and we're going to make some profits. So we're going to keep an eye on some fake outs on the pairs, mostly Euro US dollar I'm looking at the moment. You can see I've got this channel. We've got a nice area of resistance here. If we could pop up above that, maybe 2 or 3 pips above that, I'd love to short that back in. I'd love to fade the volatility early morning here. So that's going to be my best opportunity. We'll scan through the charts and have a look at some others. May I ask, where are you from and just now? Just now? Oh, I'm from Melbourne, Australia, and I live in Melbourne, Australia. I'm not sure what you mean by just now, but you may ask. Ask. You have Friday Jinx. Friday Jinx, yeah, it's a classic one. Thanks. Just curious to know why the EU went down on the 28th of the 6th when the US have even worse than expected consumer confidence. And levels being priced really enough to make that move. Okay, let's have a consumer price on the 28th of probably my 29th, correct? The consumer confidence was predicted to shorten, so it might have already been priced in. And let's jump all the way back to the 29th at midnight. Where are we? Right here. Okay. And midnight played in. Well, midnight played in here. Right? So that move was all prior to the consumer confidence being released. Okay. So it already had a very large move. Wednesday the 29th. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah, so that data didn't come out till after that move had happened, Carlos. So what you might see is that everyone was expecting negative consumer confidence. But because I'm actually you're on a good point here. Sorry, I've just realized we're buying into the US dollar ahead of I'm gonna go ahead and assume there was some other major pull euro based. I'm gonna assume there was some major pull euro based rather than US dollar based. So let's go ahead and have a look at something like the US dollar, Japanese yen, and go back to the time. I didn't trade consumer confidence. I was actually fast asleep because it was at midnight for me. Yeah, so while we did have a bit of a bull run on the US dollar, it was nowhere near as strong as shorting in the euro there. It's an interesting point. It's an interesting question. I wasn't tracking the consumer confidence, nor was I looking to trade it, so I don't have a whole lot of information to give you. But this move happened just prior to the consumer confidence actually being released. So I'm going to go ahead and assume that there was some kind of the G7 meetings going on. I'm going to assume there was some other kind of news in there to pull that, or the stock markets were running a certain way, because this did all happen prior to consumer confidence, which, I mean, we all realistically expected to be negative anyway. So that was probably priced in earlier on. Maybe that was more of this bull move along here, and then it was a lot of profit taking prior to it. But I'm going to assume there was another pull in there. Sorry, I can't give you more information on that, Carlos, but I wasn't trading it. If I wasn't trading it, it makes it quite hard to actually say what might have happened. Sorry, I missed a couple of things. Sorry, I didn't hear correctly. UK? No, Melbourne, Australia. I live in Melbourne, Australia, down south. Right down all the way on this little island. Well, it's not little, but this island all the way down the bottom of the earth. Beautiful place it is, CJ. I love it here. Very beautiful place. Still yet to go Malaysia. I want to do Malaysia. Done Singapore, done Korea. I want to do Japan. All these different areas I want to travel, but that doesn't matter. We're talking about the markets. Euro style, looking for a pop up. All right, a pop up. If we can get a pop up, I'm gonna look to short it. I was looking at pairs like the US dollar, Japanese yen, which you can see did just break out of the morning range. However, while this could make up for a good little scalp opportunity to bring it back in for like 5 or 6 pips, Japanese yen market is going to open, I think, at 10 a.m. Right, so not too far away before the stock market opens in Japan. I don't really want to be involved in the currency when that stock market does open up. US dollar Swiss franc got shorted. US dollar did actually pretty big early on. US dollar CAD's being interesting. Low of the day. Ooh, okay. So we broke yesterday's low very early this. Oh, that's interesting. That's very interesting. These little morning ranges can be very powerful if you understand the complexity of the currency. So not trading anything Asian related. When you get these initial pump ups or push downs, right? You get them, is that the high of the day as well? Wow, wow, wow. That would have been a great shorting opportunity. I'm spewing, I missed that. Push up above the high of the day in the early morning, it usually works out as a fantastic opportunity short. And we saw that on, was it US dollar Swiss franc? No, what was I just clicked on? US dollar CAD? Yeah. You break the previous day's low or the previous day's high, you can literally just scalp it right the way back in. It does work out as a really great opportunity. As you can see, we missed one up here. And it's kind of what I was looking for on the Euro US dollar. The Asian session pairs, don't really want to touch them, Asian session pairs. But once again, we broke the high of the day right there. Popped up above it, scalp it back in. You scalped it to the other side. I just clicked off before I even read how much that was. No, you would have took 17 pips here in the Asian session. Who says the Asian session doesn't move? 17 pip move in the morning would have been beautiful. Great British Pound Swiss franc hasn't got up there yet. If we can get over here, keep an eye. If we can get up above this high of the day before we reach like 11 a.m., which from now is like an hour and 40 minutes. If we can get up there in the next hour and 40 minutes, a look. I think gold's creating support for a push back up. I'll have a look now, drone prone. I have serious jinx, particularly Japanese yen cross on Fridays. It's an interesting concept to think, but I'm sure you don't. I'm sure you just maybe you make different decisions on a Friday. You have a different vibe. Victor, Melbourne, nice. What about your currency and economics? Should we expect a rise in the price of the Aussie dollar? Personally, I am bullish Aussie dollar. Okay, I am bullish on the Aussie dollar. Depending on how well we handle inflation, interest rates are still getting hiked, and they got hiked aggressively again Tuesday this week. Market's reaction was negative. They think we're going okay a little bit too far, maybe moving into recession territory. I spoke about this last week. Potentially, the rest of our data is pretty good. Jobs data is good. Manufacturing PMIs are good. Employment data is good. Like, we're doing pretty well. We got dragged down quite aggressively from China going into lockdowns, which understandably, because they're our biggest trade partner, and if they're completely locked down, then a lot of the stuff we buy and a lot of the stuff we sell can't move freely in between those two nations. Overall, I've got a bullish incentive on the Aussie dollar, but I don't think it's going to be strong enough to be bullish against the US dollar. So maybe look against some safe haven pairs like the Japanese yen or the Swiss franc over the next, I don't know, 6 months. That's my personal opinion, but it all depends on how well we can bring down that inflation rate as well. And then obviously how the world reacts to the whole Ukraine and Russia thing. That might move markets quite substantially. 17 pips is more than enough for a day. It sure is. It sure is. 17 pips is more than enough for a day. Have a look here. Pound, Aussie dollar, Euro, US dollar. Anywhere yet. Still sitting in that range. That's okay. Euro, Great British Pound. We're floating on that low of the day right here. Break it necessarily. We were floating around it. We were flirting. Euro Swiss franc's not going to have much for us. Euro CAD broke the low of the day on open. Nice little shorting opportunity, but spreads probably would have been a pain for you. Spreads probably would have been like 4 pips, so you're looking at maybe like 2 or 3 pip profit if you would have scalped on the Euro CAD here. Euro Aussie dollar is going to move flat. Swiss franc, Japanese yen. Japanese yen's getting a bit of a move through. I'm assuming that's going to go on all of them. Yes, sir. Japanese yen starting to get some bullish momentum, which tells me, whoa, hang on. It's Asian set. Yes. Look. Oh. Yeah, you know what? This is going to be our trade today. I like it. I like it. Sorry, let me open up my trading platform. Let me open up my trading platform here. I'm going to look to short here on the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. Okay, now the reason I'm looking for a short into the Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, I will tell you momentarily. Sorry, let me just get my platform up and running and understand how much I'm... yes, 5-minute chart. Okay, we're reaching... Okay. So, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, right? We've had a really nice bull run in early this morning. I do not believe we have any news expected for this pair today. Double check. Nothing major anyway. We've broke above the recent high of the day, yesterday's high of the day in the early session. We did have a bit of a pullback and then a move forward. And then we've had this really nice bull run and we're still moving to the upside here. Okay, stock market doesn't open for like another hour. I'm going to be more than happy to look short this initial push here, which has already gone about 18 pips, which is quite a fair bit. So I'm going to look to short in here. Let's have a look at what kind of value I want to short this at. Sorry guys, we'll be with you in a moment. That. And I'll show you the position in here in a sec. Let's put a little bit of room to move here. I'm going to go for like a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio. And I'm probably going to look here for about 11 pips. Go with that. Why is that not? There we go. Okay, we're in. All right, we're shorting the market here. The exact price I got entered in is, where's my price? 1.10827. I've just gone ahead and changed that's the price we're in. The profit target, look, 118 pips, not 118 points, I say. And the stop loss is 109 points. Okay, so 10 pip, 11 pips for 11 pips. This is what I'm looking at, okay? This is my morning trade this morning. So that's in place. Sorry, I'll come back to the chat now. I got a little bit messy there. Let's go now. Thanks and good luck. No worries, Victor. Enjoy your day. I wish you all the best. Do you use sentiment for confluence / confirmation on your trade setups? Yes. Yes, I do, but I build my own sentiment. So I don't use like a broker's sentiment on where most people are holding their positions or like a Forex Factory interest rate sentiment or anything like that. I look at the recent data results. I have a look at the overall confidence in that currency, and I'll be like, okay, I like the idea of buying the Aussie dollar at the moment, so I'm going to look for longs in the Aussie dollar, for example. Um, Scalping markets early Asian session, I won't care about confluence. If we've done a nice move early on, even better. I like that because I'm looking to fade those moves accordingly, right? So in that circumstance, not really. But if I'm trading anything above the half an hour to the 1 hour mark, I'm looking for it to coincide with my overall economic outlook on those currencies. Yes. Jordan, I understand it's different case by case, but which time frame do you trade and average stop loss distance in your case? Mostly I trade more of the outer 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour. Like I literally will trade pretty much any trading session any time frame. When I'm scalping, I'm looking at the 1 minute and the 5 minute, getting in low and early here in the Asian session. And it's not very often I do scalp the Asian session. It's just today I've had that I want to get in and I want to find some opportunities here in the Asian session for you guys today. Um, so it's a basing more on the 5 minute. I don't love the 1 minute Asian session wise. I don't love the 1 minute, but overall it really really ranges. My average stop loss depends on what the setup is and what the time frame I'm trading is. So I don't base my stop loss off of like pure pips. Like I'll be like, oh, I enter every position, it's going to be 30 pips or something like that. I'll base off of what I can see. The strategy in scalping here early on is I like to give it enough room. So I look for a 1-to-1. Realistically, where can I see it pulling back into? And then I'll just give it 1-to-1 for enough room to breathe. Sometimes I even give it more than 1-to-1. I'll pull it in and give it like a 0.6. Negative risk to reward ratio here when I scalp, but when I'm looking on the higher time frames, I'm looking at areas of like evident support and resistance that I can kind of put my stop loss in a safe area, or an area where once it does get up and hit that point, I know the analysis is no longer in my favor. Coincidentally, you can see that our stop loss up here is above these nice areas up the top here. That's just pure luck, but gives me a little bit more confidence. So if we do get stopped out, I can confidently just be like, yep, fair enough, stopped out. The reason I got in once we broke above this high of the day, not only just to fade the high of the day, but we did have an engulfing candle here. And this engulfing candle was a signal to me that we are going to start heading bearish. So I did enter it. Now, we don't have much volatility in these morning Asian sessions. So when you do get some kind of entry signals, so to speak, it's not like how you trade your other positions. It's not just going to run your way straight away. It's probably going to take a while. Realistically, I'll probably be in this position for quite some time now. I don't think it's going to come down here for at least a couple of hours. So when we're trading Asian sessions, it does take a little bit longer. So keep an eye on that. It's not going to happen straight away like you used to in the US session, or the European session, depending on the currency you're trading. Do you also pyramid your positions? No, I don't pyramid my position. No, sir. But we'll keep an eye on that. Let's have a look for some more opportunities across the board. Pound, obviously, we already missed that opportunity. We had a nice bullish push up. We broke out of the yesterday's high, scalped up above that, and then we could have scalped it back in, but we didn't miss that opportunity, unfortunately. So now it's just sitting in that range. New Zealand dollar CAD we did discuss, but technically broke the low there, and then we've re-broken the low. While we may have made some profits to pull that back in already, we're already 3 pips up. I didn't take the trade and I didn't pull it back in, but that would have been an opportunity to scalp in here this morning. Any of these not really loving. We did break below there, but Asian session pairs. I know I said I don't want to trade the Asian session pairs, and I'm in a position with Aussie dollar and New Zealand dollar, which is Asian session pairs. But overall, this is not overly volatile compared to what we usually see, look at the Asian sessions and Aussie dollar New Zealand, you know, not until 11 a.m. do we really get some movement. We kind of just fluctuate around. You can see here, evident a couple days ago, broke above yesterday's high. We gave it a bit of an engulfing candle, push back up, and it did pull in X amount of pips, you know, a nice 8 pips prior to carrying on its move. And it does do it accordingly as well. We broke below the low in the Asian session, broke below, then we had a bit of a move that way, and we could scalp that back in over there for about 11 pips. So kind of consistent, just fading these high and lows of the day, early morning Asian session. I do like to do every now and then. So looks like we're starting to pull into a bit of profits. What I'll do, where are we? So I've got a 0.9 lot position here, which means I'm risking $60 on my 24K account. So I am trading my funded 24K account here at the 5ers. This is the account I got prior to actually becoming an analyst here at the 5ers. I did go through the process of becoming a trader prior to actually becoming an analyst. So take that as you will. I do have a funded account and I do trade with them, even though I am employed by them. And I do these live streams for you. I do still trade my own money and their money as well. But it is an account I actually earned myself in passing the evaluation account, much like many of you traders have as well. I was in the same boat prior to becoming an analyst. We're not going to get a whole lot of movement out of this trade. I can tell you that now. Why? Because I trade the Asian session too often to know that we're just going to kind of sit here for at least a couple of hours, right? We're not going to get like a great push down, 11 pips, bang, we're done. If we do, I'm willing to eat my pride, and that's what it is. But this may take a while. Six string. Do you ever tap out of a trade early? Absolutely. You mentioned your current trade could take a few hours. If a trade doesn't necessarily hit your stop, but you don't like the behavior, do you exit early? Absolutely. Absolutely, I do. If I lose confidence in that trade, I will try and minimize that loss as much as possible. Now, there's multiple different ways you can try and minimize that loss. If it's going against you, but overall you're really confident in the position, you can start to look to hedge your position, which means just open the same amount of lot in the opposite direction, and your running profit and loss will maintain the same as it goes against you until it pulls back in. Or you can cut your loss for the running P&L that it's at now a little bit earlier than usual. You can look to take off half the position, which is what I usually do. If I'm losing confidence, I'll look to start scaling out of the position to try and minimize that loss as much as possible. Absolutely, I am not a set and forget trader. I don't think anyone should really be a set and forget trader. I'm always looking to see if the analysis is working in our favor. If it's not working in our favor, let's minimize our overall exposure to that trade. Absolutely, I do. Great question, by the way. We also have to place a stop loss for hedging position. Yes, in trading with us, yes, you will need a stop loss on that position as well. Yeah, so hedging can be difficult. I guess it would work better if you're on one of the aggressive programs where you don't need to set a stop loss. So likely to start. No, you still need to have the stop loss. The system will not like you not having a stop loss, and then the risk management team will not like you not having a stop loss. So if you're on the low risk or the boot camp, you will need a stop loss at all times for that one. But if you're trading the aggressive program, then you can take the hedging route. If you're on the low risk or something, I suggest doing what I do, which is more or less scaling out of the position as it goes against us. Let's say I wanted this to move quickly and we were in a volatile session and we're still sitting here 15 minutes later, I'd probably look to be taking off half the position now, being like, I'm not very confident in this anymore. Let's look to get out. But I'm in the Asian session. I understand how the session moves, so I'm more than willing to give it a couple hours and see where we unfold along that route. Let's see if Euro US dollar has given us anything to talk about yet. No, we're still sitting in this range. Now, Euro US dollar obviously nowhere near as confident as breaking the low of the days. The low of the days down here. And it's very rare we do break the low or the high of the day in the Asian session for Euro US dollar, but it has happened occasionally, and you can see here when it does happen, you do get a really nice fading opportunity. So we break yesterday's low of the day, we get a little pop in, engulfing candle back to the upside, and you can see how much that ran. Now, depending on your profit target, I usually just scalp it back to the top of the channel, be about 11 pips. Many people might hold it on. You could have held it on for 30 pips throughout the Asian session here. Once again, pretty rare that we do break the recent daily high or low in the Asian session on these type of pairs. But when it does happen, it's usually a great little scalping opportunity to pull it back in. Another 19 pips there on the Asian session on Euro US dollar. Okay, once again, not many offer that. There, we did manage to break yesterday's low there. Little bit of a pull in. Nothing too fancy, but there would have been 8 pips if you were able to catch that. It's a whole nother story. But you can see the kind of idea. It's not a soundproof trading strategy. It does take a... Ooh, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Do not recommend going off and trading this strategy straight away as well either. I do know this strategy comes down to managing a lot of your position, okay, knowing when to get in and when to get out, not necessarily just a set and forget, as I said. So there's a good chance if you backtest this strategy and run it, it's not going to provide too powerful results because it is all on trade management and understanding when the stock market's open, what currencies are going to move at different times. There is a whole range behind it. I'm going to flag Euro here because we might actually get a bit of an opportunity to scalp this. Back in. Conrad, how are you going? Welcome. Welcome. It's good to see you. All right. Euro US dollar. You're doing a little bull run for me, and I like what you're doing. So I'm going to go ahead and have a look. Wow, look at the Aussie dollar right now. So it's the US dollar getting shorted. The US dollar is getting shorted. Why is the US dollar getting shorted? Getting shorted quite aggressively. So I'm going to hold on my position. Okay. I wanted to short this up in here and buy into the US dollar, but across all pairs, the US dollar is doing something. So I'm going to wait a little bit because that's a little bit out of the ordinary for the Asian session here. So I'm going to give it some time to figure out what it's doing before I go ahead and short this. But I am going to set up ready for a trade on Euro US dollar. Oh, it's a 7 pip, 7 pip. We'll have a look. We'll have a look. We'll keep an eye on it. I don't love it. I don't love it. I am from Australia, Conrad. I am indeed. If you're wanting a trade strategy that requires management, just like you mentioned, and it doesn't backtest well because of it, do you just forward test on a demo or with a very small lot size? So both. If you're trying to backtest a strategy which is based on perception and understanding, you can use the tool like the replay tool on TradingView, which I like to use. So like literally just blindfold yourself and go back X amount of days. And when you go all the way back those days, click play. And then you can play it through. And you can make those decisions as if it was live. And you can manage that position as if you were trading it live. It's a great training aspect to understand it and to get a feel for the market as if you are trading it live. But it does also require a lot of forward testing. Yes. I would forward test on a demo account as long as you're self-disciplined enough to hold on to it. And you're not just going to be reckless on the demo account. I would recommend demo. I wouldn't recommend forward testing a strategy on a live account there. I'll wait for a little bit higher. If we can get a little bit higher, it's kind of just sitting here. Hello, hello. Good morning, mates. Good morning, Safe. Good to see you. You've got a long on Euro US dollar? Fair enough. What's your analysis? Where are you going long? What time frame? What's your reason? Why are you shorting the US dollar? Let's have a chat. Um, back in, but I'm okay missing the trade if it does just run back in. I think I'm going to be okay with it. I didn't love, like, didn't really break out of the area, so I'm a little unconfident. And then that bull run we just had, or the bear run on the US dollar, it's either a really big player moving a lot of money on the US dollar, or just coherently everyone shorted the US dollar at the exact same time. So I'm a little bit skeptical on the move there. Finally, you're one of the 5ers. Welcome, Safe. Welcome. It's pleasure to have you on board. It's good to hear that you've come on. Are you doing? What have you embarked on? What's your adventure? Run me through it. Having a quick scan here. I think they're the opportunities of the morning, to be honest. I think everything else is kind of just gonna go meh. Aussie dollar, Swiss franc, if you get high enough, maybe get high enough, but it has had a nice pullback compared to your Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar. Aussie dollar's having a bit of a rally this morning. That's okay. How are we looking on gold? Nothing. Okay. Jesus, welcome, Jesus Barroso. It's good to see you. Just got my funded account yesterday, 6K, trying to get a 24K account. Awesome, Jesus. I wish you best of luck. Remember, you have plenty of time to achieve it. It's 6 months. So, realistically, take your time. Risk a lot less than what you think. The 24K account was the account I passed prior to becoming a member here. So definitely take your time. Use Structure up like how much you want to risk and then half that and trade with that. You get so much time here, and as long as you're in profits, we can keep extending your account as well, right? So don't try to jump straight for the profits. Take your time, run it through, and be very consistent. And I wish you all the best. Honestly, I hope you can get into that funded 24K account. I would go for any ranging market if I trade. You would go for any ranging market for quick scalping. Fair enough. Fair enough. Each to their own. Everyone's got their own markets. I like a trending market when I'm trading longer term. I just know the Asian session, especially when you're in pairs like the Euro US dollar, doesn't move a whole lot in the Asian session. So I'm willing to kind of move with those. I like I like the way this is setting up. I like the way this is setting up. I know we're in the reds right now and it's still pushing higher, but believe me, I actually like how this is setting up. To be honest, um, it's a decent bull run early morning. It is a decent bull run early morning. Like it's a little bit too early to have such a nice bull run here. Um, so I'm quite happy to be looking to fade this. I think we are going to pull it. I might have to take profits a little bit early on this trade, just so everyone's aware. If it does keep running up and we're only going to get a little bit of pullback, it is what it is. I will take that little bit of a pullback and I will take my profits and run to the bank. Okay. So I am looking for a pullback in. I want to see some serious strength in the pullback. Then I might look to scale out the position as we're moving in our favor. Okay, so just keep that in mind. This take profit isn't set and forget take profit. I am going to be looking to scale out as we do move into our favor here. Because this has already moved like a whopping, what, 20 pips? 22 pips early Asian session here. And if I go ahead and pull in sessions, hopefully it's not reset. It has reset. That's very annoying. Okay, that's just not the Asian session at all. Okay, but usually you can see how long the Asian sessions go to about here, I think. 1, 2, 4, 5, there. Okay, so Asian session yesterday on this pair moved 19 pips. We've already done that already. Day before it moved 29 pips. We've already done 6% of that. Day before that, all right, this is a little crazy. 40 pips. All right, so we've done half of that. The day before that, 25 pips. We've already almost done that. So we can start looking to fade these. We're looking at 25 pips there. We've already moved almost the average amount we do in an Asian session this morning. So it's giving me more and more confidence to fade this back in. So we'll keep an eye on it. Wow. We'll keep an eye on it and we'll see how it can pull back in and if it can pull back in, and we'll scale out accordingly throughout the Asian session here. As I said, it's not going to be a really quick trade. It's going to be one that goes for a little while, unfortunately, but that's trading the Asian session. We don't scalp quick profits in the Asian session. We do the same setups as scalping quick profits, and it just takes us twice as long. We'll see. Euro US dollar. Yeah. That's interesting, right? That's a really nice run there. And it happened across all US dollar pairs. It looks like it's pulling back in now. If anyone did get in a little scalp, you'd be in profits, but you'd have to get the perfect entry point, and you'd only be about 0.15 profits. So not much there to take even. Even if I manage to pull back into the bottom area, I'm still only going to get like 6 pips. So I don't love it. And it's not breaking the low of the day or the high of the day. It's just breaking an area of resistance. If it can break that area of resistance, I have a bit of pressure on. Yeah. Okay. Well, this is the trade of the day for me. How many times a week do you go live? I'm live this time every week. Okay, just once. Yesterday we had Ruben, I think it was. The day before that you have Sol, and the day before that you have Yaniv. So we're live pretty much every trading day. Only they're obviously all based in the Europe time zone, so they're trading the Europe and the US sessions, whereas I'm out here trading the Asian session. But yeah, I'm live this time every single week. Get this in. Euro US dollars making his move back to the upside. Let's see if he can get a nice clean break up here. Maybe run maybe 1 or 2 pips up into the break and then look to scalp it down, but losing confidence in that overall. I can tell you that now. I am losing confidence in that position. Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollars trying, really trying to bring us down. Hopefully it can get us there. See. Let's see, shall we? Right entry point. I can see this pulling back in. I'm going to look for the areas of maybe 107.5, like down here. I'll look for these areas down here, but we'll see. It's got 2 areas of resistance. It's got to break through in order to hit our stop, so I'm quite confident in the stop. If we do break this one, I'm probably going to take about 25% of the position off. Break this one, I'm going to take half of that, so I only have 25% of the position off by the time we get up and hit the stop loss. Okay, so these are kind of like my areas of resistance, but they're also going to be my scale out options in the event that it's going against us, depending on how well that actually breaks those areas. That's good to know. Does anyone have any questions for me? Any questions or any topics they wanted to talk about? I know we've been very much focused on this trade, and I wanted to trade live with you guys today. I've just got that stomach urge to be in a trade. So I hope you don't mind that. I think some of you like the aspect of trading live with me, and understanding my thought process and doing so. So I'm hoping some of you guys enjoyed that rather than talking about the usual fundamental economics as we do. But long-term moves, there is a lot of different stuff going on. But today I thought I'd focus on some Asian session scalping to show you that profits can still be made in the Asian session. Well, let's hope profits can still be made in the Asian session. Overall, I'm quite happy with my analysis, and I'm happy with the trade setup here. So I'm more than happy to run this. Sorry, Jordan, I'm more of a crypto trader. Just wondering what platform you find best to trade for Forex. 5%ers platform. No, are you talking like actual trading platform itself, like what you execute trades on, or are you talking more of a broker? What would you recommend for your risk exposure per trade? Confident setups, I go 0.25%. 0.25%. Unconfident setups, I'm looking more at 0.15 or 0.1% per trade. Realistically, aiming for maybe 1%. If I have a good month of trading, I'm 1 to 1.5% profit. Okay, that's it. I'm not looking for the big 10%, big 20%. I'm looking for those small numbers. Small numbers on a big account equals big numbers. Okay, if you're small, safe, be happy with what you're risking, happy with what you're managing. Like I said, I risked $60 on this trade. It's $60, 60 US bucks. Fair enough. Go wild. Um, it's not going to send me emotionally insane losing $60. Like, you know what I mean? It'll be like, on to the next. So I give myself that ability to trade freely. Trade freely. Broker, I guess. All right. Well, I can't recommend any brokers. Because, well, we're not a broker, but we're a trading firm. The 5% is the trading firm. So there's a lot of different retail brokers that have a range of different options. I suggest when looking for a broker, don't be fooled by leverage and fooled by bonus payouts and all this stuff. Look for regulation. Look for some serious regulation, and have a look at realistically what's going to give you the best chance of success. Retail brokers, you're betting against. Okay, when you're trading with a retail broker, when you lose money, they make money. So try and find a broker that's going to give you the best chance of success, not just want your money when you lose. That's my recommendation with that, and it's the same with brokers as well. But overall, the trading in cryptocurrency is very technical, all technical analysis. While it does have that in FX as well, commissions are very cheap. But also you have the added aspect of fundamentals. You have news. You do have a bit more going on in terms of crypto. Crypto is kind of like, this is the asset, this is where supply and demand is, go ahead. Whereas in FX, you've got to kind of have an understanding of, it's two currencies paired against each other. How are their governments doing? How is their data doing? Where are we moving? What are we looking at? Um, yeah, so it's a bit to understand there. Sure, please tell me more about your firm. Okay, well, we fund forex, commodities, and indices traders now. So you can come in and do an evaluation account. Apologies if you can hear my dog. You can come in and do an evaluation account, and if you pass that evaluation account, we'll give you a funded account that you can trade with, and then we both have a profit split. So essentially, you bring in the talent of trading, we bring in the equity, so you can have the buying power and the real funds, and then we'll split it halfway. You take half the profit, we'll take half the profit. Everyone's happy days. Can you have two accounts in the instant funded program? Absolutely, you can. You can have 3 accounts in the instant funded program. Safe. Ormond, good to see you. Do you watch US dollar when you're in a cross currency trade? No, no, I don't. I don't care if I'm in a cross currency trade. I won't bother with the US dollar at all. I'll have a look at, like, if I'm trading long term, I'll have a look at the local bond market. So I can have a look at, like, the Aussie 10-year yields. They'll give you a good incentive on whether people want to invest in the Aussie dollar right now. If you're trading the US dollar, you can have a look at the Dow Jones index or the SPX. Like, it's good to get an idea as a whole of what that currency is doing at each time. But if I'm trading like Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, I won't even bat an eyelid at the US dollar. Good afternoon, Jordan. Good afternoon, Ron. Good morning to me, but good afternoon to you. My question is, how long does it take to get your bootcamp account set up? I signed up on the 2nd of July. Wow, okay. That sounds like something's wrong, Ron. It should be instant. So what I want you to do is email help at the5ers.com, and I'll forward that on to a team immediately for you. You definitely should have had your account by now. So yeah, if you haven't had that, please email support, and we'll get that out to you as soon as possible. No worries, Mick. I appreciate you tuning in today. I know I don't know if you've been here the whole time, but you did tune in earlier, and then you're having a bit of a chat with me. I really appreciate it. I like having a chat with so many different traders and a crypto trader. Nice little bullish push up there. We're actually getting close to the Aussie stock market opening here, so let's keep an eye on it. Where are we looking? Let's go ahead and pull up the ASX 200. Okay. Okay, and let's pull up the ASX as a whole. Not opened yet, so it'll open up shortly. We'll get a bit of open. Thank you for the info. No worries, Ron. Jordan, please recommend 5ers, increase placement in our favor, please. Look, I'll give it a solid shout, but depending on the program, it makes it quite hard. That's our sole revenue, right? So like compared to our competitors that make money when people fail challenges and stuff like that, that's not very much revenue for us. Our revenue is in the profit split. So when we start removing our cut, it increases our exposure to one trader. If you have a look, like you can be a trader and you can get to PM3, and at that level, we may have only made like $1,000 off of you, and then you could blow an account worth $10,000. You know what I mean? So like our risk exposure is quite phenomenal in that circumstance. So the reason the profit split's 50-50 is because it's like it's how we actually maintain being a profitable firm while still being ethical. We're really want to be an ethical company, right? And we look at what the competitors are doing. We look at how they run their things. It's unethical. They're doing like brokers and they're betting against the trader. So it's when we have that 50-50, the reason we have that 50-50 is because that is our actual revenue play. You bring the trading, we bring the money, and we'll take half half. It is a business model. So increasing that profit split means removing a lot of our revenue and increasing our overall exposure to traders. I'll take it up with them, but I wouldn't hold it in high hopes just yet until there's a bit that's got to move. 5% is the most fair and legit prop firm in my opinion. Thank you, Horman. I appreciate that. I agree. It's why I ended up becoming an analyst here, and I was a trader prior to becoming an analyst. And being a trader, I understood the business model. I understood that they were fair, they were ethical, and they actually want the best for traders. We do these live trading rooms, we do trading courses. We get people like Dr. Gary Dayton coming in and chatting to traders to increase their psychology aspects. We do one-on-one portfolio analyst meetings. We have all those resources to help traders because we want traders to succeed so we can get that 50%, which is our revenue. So our goals and we're aligned. Trader and the firm, we're partners. We're not customer and service. We're partners trying to make it somewhere, and that's why the profit split is more even compared to what you can get at competitors. Because competitors make money when you fail those evaluations, whereas we lose money when you fail those evaluations, and when you fail your accounts, we lose money. So we want to give you everything to make you successful. And that's the reason we look at the 50-50 on the instant funded. Okay. Well, just like that, we're running out of time, guys. Running out of time. What's the highest funding level anyone's been able to attain? Hard to believe that there's a PM team out there. I don't have the actual data on that. I've only been at the 5ers for about 7 months, and the firm's been around for like 7 years. So I don't have the exact data on the highest. I can confirm there are some seven figures traders, 7-figure traders in the firm. I can't expose any more information than that. But there are 7-figure traders. I can tell you that. You happy with the 5ers? I understand your point. Awesome. I'm glad we managed to sort that out. Plenty of opportunity to scale up and earn on all their programs. Absolutely, Horman. And that's the point. We want you to grow. We want you to strive. We want you to have targets. I think most of you will have jobs. You'll have a target. You'll have a KPI. You'll have something you've got to do in order to have the business like you, essentially. And it's very similar here as well. All right. Does anyone have any more questions before we call it a day? I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. I will be available in the Discord most of today. So if you are in this position or you wanted to chat about this position and how I'm handling it, feel free to reach out in the Discord. I will be active. This is probably going to be my only position today, to be honest. It kind of scratched the itch. Euro did manage to break out of that area. Oh, I'm so tempted to short it. I really am. I really am so tempted to short it, but I'm just not confident in it, so I'm not going to. I'm not going to, but I do love the idea of maybe shorting it back to this trend line. It's only 5 pips. It's not really worth my time. Not really worth my time, to be honest. You're happy to hear that from me? I'm not sure exactly what you're referring to, but I'm happy you're happy. I've just said a lot of stuff in a short amount of time, but no, it's good to know you're happy from what I'm saying. You're going to add a long above 10220, and you're trading the euro US dollar above 10220, so all the way up here. Oh wow, okay, yeah, yeah. So you're trading a much higher time frame, right? You trading like the hour time frame or something? Why have you gone long here? Have you gone long just because it's been overly shorted? An Elliott wave trader? Like, if I were to go, okay, fair enough. Like, you want to take it long. But if I were to go long here, I'd be waiting for a break above here. Where you said you're going to add to your position, I'd be looking to start my position, right? Because we've just broke a lower low. Like, everything right now, I know it looks a little bit oversold and it's been moving well, but everything right now tells me that we're moving down. And then you've gone ahead and bought at the bottom. Fair enough. But there's no real aspect of confirmation within there. I'd more or less, like, if I was going to go long on the hourly, I'd be looking something along the lines of that and then trying to fill that gap. But yeah, if you've done like a small risk position and entered in down these lows, maybe I can see the justification in it. But as a whole, I'm a little bit skeptical. So close to parity, it is, isn't it? It's so close to parity. Thanks, Jordan. Meet you next week. Awesome, CJ. Thank you so much for tuning in and being around. I will see you again next week. Pleasure. You're counting for correction? Counting for correction. Okay. Wow, I will be one of the 7999. I have no idea what you're on about, Safe. I'm going to be honest. I got no idea what you're on about. All right, guys, I'm going to call it there. We've gone for a little over an hour now. I'm going to keep an eye on this trade. I'll be in the Discord if you need me. As always, have a fantastic weekend. Take it away from the charts. You know, go spend some time with your friends, your family. Reset, come back Sunday night or Monday morning and attack the markets with a fresh mind. If you do need me at any point, Discord's your place to be, or email help@the5ers.com and one of us will get round to you. If you have a question specifically for me, feel free to email help@the5ers.com, but address it to me and say this email is for Jordan, and it will eventually come around to me. So, as always, have a fantastic weekend. I wish you all the best. Last question there for you, Mick. When doing the evaluation, do you have a certain amount of time to get your trades done in order to pass, or is it assessed on actual performance excluding time? If you're on the low risk account, you have 6 months. So we'll give you 6 months to pass that evaluation. If you're in profits at the end of that 6 months, we'll keep extending that account as long as it's in profits for you to actually keep trading it. So they do have time limit just because it does take up server space and our time, employees' time. But it's very flexible in how we can do that as well. The bootcamp account has 12 months, so you've got a very long time to achieve the targets. Thank you guys. Have a fantastic weekend, and I will see you all next week. Cheers. Have a good one.